Hello everybody, it's Hater. Welcome back to another Destiny 2 build video. And Gear Falcon's Halberd is the brand new Void exotic chest piece for the hunters this season. Its exotic perk, See Me, Feel Me, allows your weapons to gain a bonus to damage. This is about 35% in PvE and 15% in PvP, briefly after you emerge from being invisible. When you are invisible and defeat a combatant using a finisher, you and nearby allies gain a reserve overshield and improved class ability regen. These reserve overshields can be deployed by using a class ability. In a season focused around Arc 3.0, I don't think we were all prepared for a void-oriented exotic, since both Titans and Warlocks already received new exotics that enhance their current Arc builds. I'm looking at you, Fallen Sunstar. Regardless though, Gear Falcons is easily one of the better exotics you can choose right now for your hunter. When combined in a build, which we'll get into here very shortly, we're going to be able to have a 70% weapon damage buff, reserved overshields for both yourself and your team, multiple sources of invisibility, 40% damage resistance, constant HP regen with Devour, and an expendable super we can either use to debuff a target or focus into utility and create special ammo. Truly, what more could you ask for? But as usual though, before we get into the build and break down what we're using, if you guys enjoy the video and you like the builds that I put out, giving the video a like and subscribing is the best way to show support. It really helps out. Super wise though, my personal choice is Deadfall, but you could easily change it out into Mobius Quiver. Since our super isn't really the main focus of the build and we can just use it for whatever we want, a lower cooldown in general is the best option. Another thing to note also, if you decide to bring this build into endgame content using Divinity, you don't want to huck your super at any kind of boss. The reason for that is because Tether is also a global debuff and will turn Divinity off, making you and your team deal less damage overall. Gambler's Dodge will be our dodge of choice. With it being able to fully refund our melee charge, we're able to take full advantage of not only Gear Falcon's exotic perk, but the aspect Stylish Executioner, so we can go invisible more often and proc more reserve overshields in the long run. Speaking of aspects, Stylish Executioner and Vanishing Step will be our aspects of choice. Stylish Executioner will make us invisible whenever we defeat a target affected by any void debuff. This goes for weakened, suppress, or volatile. Then whenever we use our dodge, Vanishing Step is gonna proc and also make us invisible, giving us a solid 2 ways to become invisible and proc Gear Falcon's perk. For the fragments, starting on the left, Echo of Obscurity. This is going to be our main fragment for the entire build. It's going to allow us to go invisible whenever we finish an enemy. This is going to give us that extra bit of security when we go to proc Gear Falcon's second perk, because when we finish an enemy, we end up breaking invis, making us an easy target with little to no escape. Meaning now when we do get to finish an enemy, we're going to go invisible, gain the reserve overshields for us and our team along with the class ability regen, and apply volatile to everything nearby because of Gear Falcon's hidden perk. For the next 2 fragments, they're going to go hand in hand. Echo of Instability is going to give our void weapons volatile rounds whenever we get kills with our grenades, and Echo of Starvation is going to give us Devour whenever we pick up Orbs of Power. A void weapon paired with these 2 fragments are really going to push the build to the absolute next level, especially when options like the new Typon Linear, Funnel Web, or even the newly buffed Lemonarch with Intrinsic Overload are so easy to obtain. For the final fragment, Echo of Persistence, this is going to be the perfect quality of life option and bring everything together. With it, we're going to have increased durations on all of the following buffs: Invisibility, Void Overshield, and Devour, which we are all using in this one build. Moving now on to the armor, and as usual, you guys know, we're gonna need a few things. 3 of the armor pieces Void and 2 of the armor pieces Solar. As far as stat distribution goes, you wanna have as much resilience and mobility as you can get, and then from there, it's pretty much preference. I personally enjoy having high discipline, but you could also have high strength if that's what you like having. Starting off over at the helmet though, this is the first armor piece we're gonna want as Solar. Reason for that, Ashes to Assets gives us bonus super energy whenever we get grenade kills. Since we are using our grenade to get kills for volatile rounds, Ashes to Assets is going to give us that extra bit of synergy and allow us to gain more super energy to spend on either finishers or our super in general. For the next mod, Harmonic Siphon. This is going to cause our weapons that match our subclass typing to create orbs of power when we get kills with them. This is going to be our main way to gain Devour, since we are using a void weapon to synergize with our volatile rounds. Kills with those volatile rounds and that weapon are going to create orbs of power. We pick them up, we gain more super energy, and we also gain Devour. Further kills after that will give us grenade energy and keep refreshing Devour. For the mod at the very end though, Elemental Ordnance. This is going to create a elemental well that matches our subclass typing whenever we get kills with a grenade. This is not only going to act as a way to gain more ability energy, but act as a resource for the entire build so we can activate more buffs. Moving now down to the arms, this is the first armor piece we're going to want as Void. Reason for that, 2 bolstering detonation mods. We gain class ability energy whenever we damage enemies with a grenade. Since grenades are one of our main ways to proc volatile rounds and spawn elemental wells, we can take full advantage by using 2 of these or even 1 in a champion mod to feed into the overall build and synergize with Gearfalcon's Halberd. For the mod at the very end though, Reaping Wellmaker. Since we are using our dodge to go invisible and use it as a primary function for the entire build, this is going to allow our next weapon kill after we use our dodge to spawn a void elemental well. Again, giving us another way to create more wells in the build. If we don't happen to get a kill with our grenade, no worries, we can just use our dodge and get a weapon kill. Next up though, moving to the Gearfalcon's Halberd, we're going to want this as Void, especially this season when we have the option of using Thermoshock Plating. As we already know, Thermoshock Plating reduces incoming solar and arc damage at the same time. Paired with a Void chest piece, you can use Void resistance and resist all 3 element typings this season. For the mod at the very end though, since we do have this chest piece as Void, we're going to use Well of Tenacity. This is the way we're gaining 40% damage resistance. When we pick up a Void elemental well, we're going to have 40% damage reduction for a short period of time. Picking up another Void well is also going to refresh this buff. Since we are creating elemental wells willy-nilly, this combined with 100 resilience and Devour is going to make us an absolute tank. Next up, moving on down to the boots. This is the final armor piece you're going to want as Void. The reason for that, 2 insulation mods. Since we are using orbs of power in the build and we want to make sure we have our dodge as priority number 1, having 2 of these is going to cause orbs of power to also give us class ability energy. Meaning we're gaining class ability energy from orbs of power, bolstering detonation, and Gearfalcon's Halberd. For the mod at the very end though, Font of Might. Picking up the Void Wells that we create from Elemental Ordnance and Reaping Wellmaker is now on top of giving us damage resistance, is going to give our Void weapons 25% more damage for 10 seconds. Again, making it very easy to go invisible with volatile rounds or do more damage overall in the long run. Next up, moving down to the class item. This is the final armor piece you're going to want as Solar. The main purpose is Bountiful Wells. All this does is allow each of our well mods that we have equipped to create 1 additional well based on how many are equipped. In this case, we have 1 Reaping Wellmaker and 1 Elemental Ordnance. Each of them are going to create 2 elemental wells instead of 1. Another reason why we have this piece as Solar, since we are already covering so many bases when it comes to class ability energy, we can put in 2 bomber mods to cycle out even more ability energy by now giving us grenade energy whenever we dodge. This is going to create a cycle. We deal damage with our grenade, we gain class ability energy. We use our dodge, we gain grenade energy. The cycle repeats. One last thing to note though, since I did say you can create special ammo with this build. If you decide to bring this build into endgame where you're needing special ammo, like GM Nightfalls or even the master version of King's Fall when it comes out, you can take one of the bomber mods off and use Special Finisher. Since we talked about already, our super's not the biggest priority. Instead, we can turn it into more utility and create special ammo for us and our team whenever we finish our enemies. Overall though guys, that is going to be the build for today's video. Gearfalcon's Halberd is easily one of the biggest winners of Season of the Plunder. If you guys don't have this exotic, it comes from higher tier law sectors, and you are not going to miss out if you add it to your arsenal. This thing is an absolute beast. It's great for solo content, group content, and even DPS. Let me know down in the comments if you guys have any questions about the build or if you enjoyed the build. I also stream over at Twitch almost every single day playing Destiny 2 or maybe some other games. Dropping a follow over there definitely won't hurt. Overall though, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'm going to catch you in the next one. Bye bye.